The way you look at me. I like the way you talk to me. You make me feel like a queen. Me gusta como tú me miras. Me gusta como tú me hablas. Me hace sentir que soy una reina. La reina de todo tu universo. Me gusta cuando me acaricias. Me gusta como tú me besas.
It's Wednesday, and it's time to get a little wacky. It's Wacky Wednesday with Bumper Gomez. You never know what you're going to get from this former U.S. Marine that has a passion for Tejano culture and gets you up close and personal with your favorite Tejano stars and so much more. Unfiltered Wacky Wednesday with Bumper Gomez starts now.
And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. Happy New Year if you haven't heard from me. Happy New Year. I've been, we are 2022, man. It's already started. I see the meme where people are like, dang, I already messed up, dude. 2023 is gonna be my year. So that's freaking hilarious. But no, man, tonight, this show tonight, if you're an artist, if you're a fan of Tejano music, tonight's going to be a great show. Great show. So I just know it's going to be very informative, and not just informative, but you get to see the guy who literally goes around and puts his heart and soul into our Onda Tejana. Straight, that's the easiest way to put it. I mean, this guy, he's always, articles. I literally, he was just texting me. He was writing articles from something that just happened a few hours ago. And I'm sure it's going to be published probably later on. So we'll ask him when it'll be published. But I just find them very, very interesting. And the craziest thing about it is that from the very first time that I spoke with this gentleman, he was just puro corazón. Like, he never was like, hey, bro, who the hell are you? And why the hell? How did you get my number? Nothing like that. He was just an open book, helped me in whatever questions I had or, any information. And the guy's just great, man. And so every time I'm driving around, and just like you guys, when you're driving around somewhere, whether you're listening to internet radio, where you're listening to an FM station, wherever you might be in the United States, I promise you, if you guys heard my intro, you know that voice. You'll know this gentleman who's going to be my guest tonight. And, he is, to me, he is something that we need to have because he keeps us centered, if that makes any sense. He keeps us centered. We'll get into it. But again, tonight, my guest, as you saw in the title, is Mr. Romeo from TejanoNation.net. And without further ado, here he is. Welcome, Romeo. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Bumper? How you doing, man?
Shit, you look good, dog. I see the mic and everything looks gold record behind you, though. It looks sharp, dog. It looks sharp.
It's the TejanoNation Radio Studios.
There you go. So you don't Romeo, you work from home or where do you do all this stuff from? All the voiceovers and everything that you do?
Yeah, I do everything from home and do a lot of stuff, all the articles and things like that, the radio stuff. It's all done from here.
Wow. And your writing skills, bro, where does that come from, dog?
A couple years ago, I worked for a good company called Town Square Radio or Town Square, and they, their thing is they were an internet company that decided to buy radio stations in order to promote their websites. Pretty much, they own stuff like tasteofcountry.com, screencrush.com, things like that, and they teach us all the DJs. You have to do at least 3 posts a day with that company, and they taught us how to write. Plus, also, I wrote for my high school newspaper back in the day too. So,
And what
a
high
shout out
school
to
is
the
that, man? What high school is that?
that'd be Crockett High School in
And-
South Austin, Texas.
oh, so you're an Austinite.
Yeah, go Cougs.
They an Austinite. You know, I learned about Austinites from Tejano Man, Chris Tristan.
Yeah,
Yeah, there. Yeah, my good buddy, man.
you know, something about me and the Hano Man is that he and I are cousins
For real.
by marriage. Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy, bro. That's
my
crazy.
dad is married to his aunt, so
That's funny. And look, y'all are both in the same, sort of like in the same business.
oh yeah, we know each other a long time. He and I worked together before actually right when I launched TejanoNation back in 2015. He and I were hosting a club night every Saturday in Austin.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, Romeo, all day I've been thinking about all the stuff that we were going to talk about, man. And, you know, as you know, you have, and a lot of people don't know this, but Romeo has opened up his doors to me since day one. Since I told him, I can't even think of the artist I was supposed to have. He's like, Bump, check this out. I'm going to give you rights to cross post to my TejanoNation on Facebook. So every time I go live, if I have an artist, I cross post to TejanoNation, you know, because he gave me permission to do so. So for me, bro, let me tell you, for me, that was an honor. Like just you doing that for me, I'm like, okay, this guy's taking me serious. You know what I mean? He's taking what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to bring to the fans seriously. So I want to thank you for that, bro.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure, man. Always here to support everybody. That's why it's called Tejano Nation. We're all one nation together and supporting Tejano music, Tejano culture. That's the whole thing. And that's what I've been trying to do since day one is support everyone and all the music and find a way to have our culture expand even more to places where it hasn't been yet.
Exactly, man. And that's what you're doing, bro. You're literally doing that. And if you don't know, like, if you're not a person that likes to listen to radio, or you know, you just have your artists that you go and download, but you want to know what's going on, go to TejanoNation.net. There's almost every day it's updated with new articles of what's going on and new music coming out, sad news, happy news. I mean, you name it, Romeo's on top of it, man. And again, I'm just happy for fans that are like me that get to put a face to the voice now. When you see the, hey, we got news coming from, and then boom, they give you that clip, and you know, keep Romeo from TejanoNation.net, and bam, you spit out the news, and I'm like, okay, cool, that album's coming out. Let me go check it out. So
yeah,
that's really, really cool, man. We have already people on here. Shout out to Chingona, Albert Moreno, Ricky Duran. Let's see, Juan Leti, Botello. Shout out to Destiny Navaida. I'm supporting tonight. Destiny Navaida's shirt tonight. Let's see, Chris Tristan. He's like, "What's up, bro?" And Di Marie on here. John Rios, what's going on from? John Rios from Texican Clothing, man. I love those shirts, bro. You see everybody wearing those shirts, Romeo, on social media. The Texican shirts. Those guys are good. You can hit them up, man. Texican, hit them up on Instagram, Facebook. They'll respond to you. They sell everything through social media. Hit them up, give them your address, pay them however they ask you to pay them, and it'll come in the mail. Believe me, I own like 5 or 6 of the son of a guns. But Romeo, going back to you, brother, what year have you always been a Tejano music fan?
I kind of listened to it when I was younger. Of course, we were from that generation where our grandparents and our parents listened to the Tejano music. Like, you know, my parents like Little Joe and Latin Reed. So I kind of listened to that. They had the LPs, the vinyl, and I would listen to that when they listened to it. But when I was younger, I was into R&B music and maybe some top 40, some hip hop, things like that. And that's kind of what I started in liking in the beginning. But the first true paid gig, I worked at the Tejano radio station in Austin, Texas.
That's where you started.
Yeah, back when I started. Well, the first, I entered at a hip hop station in Killeen, Texas during college. But after college, my first job was working nights at KKOB in Austin, Texas, Club 92.5 FM. But it only lasted for about a month.
And that was it.
That was it. I got because I had applied for a whole bunch of jobs, and KKOB came to me first. It's like, hey, we have they had a weekend opening, and they were saying like, so I applied for the weekend job because I was looking for any kind of gig. I'm straight out of college trying to find a gig, and I was like, I'll take any gig I can get. So I sent my tapes into everybody in Austin because I wanted to work in Austin. My goal was to be the #1 nighttime DJ in Austin. That was my goal from high school.
In any format.
Any format. I grew up listening to some great Austin DJs who are now, all over the world, like Elvis Duran, who's working in New York City. Let's see here, Tony Fly, who's working on Sirius XM radio. Those guys were doing local radio back in the day when I grew up, and that's what I wanted to do. And so, like, I go back to where I was trying to find a gig anywhere in Austin. KKLB was the first one to call me, and they had a weekend gig, but they heard my tape, and I went in for the interview. So, like, we have a weekend gig. I know we advertised for the weekend gig, but would you want to do nights? We liked your tape that much, and we want you to be the night guy. I was like, yeah, no problem. Let's do it. So for whatever, I think it was like minimum wage at that time. It was like it was $5 an hour or something like that. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'll do it. And then I'm here. I'm working at the station doing nights, doing the club at the Tejano Ranch, the old Tejano Ranch, doing the night shows. That's actually also where I met Chris Tristan for the first time.
Yeah, that's what he's on here saying. I used to work at that KKLB.
Yeah, most Tejano DJs used to work at KKLB back in the day, man.
That's cool, man.
A lot of great guys came from KKLB, and let's see here. So I was working at KKLB, and I was there for a month, and then I get a phone call from 96.7 KHFI, the top 40 #1 station in the market in Austin, Texas.
You see how he still keeps the call letters the way they're supposed to be called.
Yeah, because those are classic call letters, man. That was the station I grew up listening to. Want to be on that station, and when they call you and they call you for an interview, and then they hire you on the spot that day, I was like, this is what I dreamed about doing, working on the #1 station in Austin. So I had to go tell Mr. Garcia at KKOB, thank you for the opportunity of working for the past 4 weeks, but I gotta go after this dream here. He kind of understood from what I heard. I don't know, Chris can probably tell you more, because I haven't really talked to him since then, Mr. Garcia. But I've heard that
you gave him your back and rolled out and never turned back.
He would never. I heard something about like he probably would never hire me back if I ever wanted to go back. So I was only there for like a month. But I had to follow my dream.
Your boy
at that time,
down there laughing his ass off.
Yeah, so I followed my dream. So I worked there at KHFI for a couple of years, and so the second station again was Kick FM in Dallas, Texas. I got hired to do nights at that station because I already been there for 3 years at KHFI, and I hadn't I was doing overnights. I hadn't gotten promoted to nights yet because they had some great guys already, like talented guys who went on to work in New York and all over the country. So I never got my shot to get in there to do nights. So another guy from a Tejano station said, like, hey, I'm doing this Tejano station, but I'm doing a top 40 feel to it. It was called Kick FM in Dallas, Texas. So I did nights over there. That's where I worked with Pancho Pistolas.
Shout out to Pancho Pistolas and all the crew up there.
Got to meet them. Got to work with them up there, and had fun. And I was there for 1 month. So altogether, my Tejano radio career was only for 2 months because
60 days, homie.
because I don't know if you know, there's a really popular radio station in San Antonio back in the late 1990s called 102.7 KTFM, and they were looking for somebody to do late nights and the slow jam show. I was like, oh, R&B. My name is Romeo. No other way than doing the slow jam show, part of the slow jam show on KTFM. Right. And so I got hired to do that. And after a month in Dallas, I said, thank you for the opportunity, but I got to go after this KTFM. So I was there for a while. And
hey, dude, your resume had to been about 12 sheets already deep.
that is how it is in radio. Like some of us, like even like rest in peace, Dan Pena, who passed away today. That was the article I was writing, which by the way, it's posted now at TejanoNation.net. He spent 25 years at one radio station, and that's the big thing in radio to do.
Man,
25 years is a long
you
time
know,
because most people last about maybe 4 or 5 years at one radio station. So
I'm
I
glad
think the longest ever was at when the station was 9 years. So,
I'm glad you
but yeah,
said
I
that.
jumped up and down I-35 throughout my career. And actually, I was just talking about this with my wife earlier. February 1st, it will be my exactly 30 years on the radio. So,
Wow. 30 years, bro. That's a long
yeah,
time, man. That's a long time. And speaking of
February
Dan
1st,
Pena,
1992.
I just posted earlier on my personal page, Dan Pena, all the years that he was at KSAB, I mean, the minute that KSAB came out with an app or you could go and listen to him online, for somebody like me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, um, us military guys, we got our home back in a sense. When this internet, like, those before the apps and all this stuff, when we
Oh
figured
yeah,
out that KSAB you could hear online anywhere, our parties in California just went to another level. Like, now we didn't have to go and take a CD out and go put it in the CD player and hit, you know what I mean? And we didn't have to, we just let the radio play like if we were just back home in South Texas. And that's kind of what I said on my post. His voice was so warming in the mornings, you know what I mean? Like on a week or if we were off on a 4-day weekend on a Friday morning, we sitting on a beach listening to the morning show, and we're on a beach in California. So that's what's crazy about how far technologies has come. But man, Dan Pena, man, we lost a like you said, a legend today, in the Tejano music, not just Tejano music, man, and just radio in general, like South Texas, Corpus Christi area, Alice, Kingsville, Beeville, Sidon, Odom, all that area right there that he spent so many years. Like you said, how
yeah,
hard it has to be at one radio station for so long, for somebody never to come and grab you and take you. That's called loyalty. And he's definitely was there through the ups and downs. And I'll be honest with you, man. And if somebody's watching, some of my friends in other radio stations, internet or FM, to me, whoever the program director is at KSAB, they're my I shouldn't say they're my favorite because I'll probably lose some friends, but their music that they play is great. Like I love KSAB's variety of music that they play on their radio station, and just going off on another tangent, just speaking of Dan Pena, man, really just heartbreaking to know, he had just retired. Like he literally just retired a few months ago,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just retired in November. He had of course, he was suffering from an illness, and he was just retired November 1st, I believe, and he didn't get a chance to say goodbye. He got sick, went to the hospital. He didn't get a chance to say goodbye to his listeners, and he got sick, went to the hospital, and then he had to retire because his health issues wouldn't let him get back on the air, and unfortunately, he passed away today.
Yeah, man, it's great. I mean, just a huge loss to know somebody like that he gave his life. That's how he made a living was supporting Tejano music and supporting the artists and the great little morning interviews, all the artists that have come through. I already see a great point of support on Facebook. If you don't know, I really don't do too much other social media besides Facebook. But on Facebook already, just the amount of love he's getting from all the artists is great, man. And speaking of artists, Romeo, in what you do, is it hard sometimes to like? How would I ask you this without being weird? When you write articles, do you ever like have to pick sides, or your articles are always just like, hey, this is informative, you take it for what for what it is?
Yeah, it's informative. I try not to pick sides, being neutral, was support everybody, and just do the news, pretty much. Just inform the Hano listeners, the Hano fans about their favorite artists or what's going on with their favorite artists, even if it's bad or usually, hopefully, it's good. That's
Right.
the best part. Or even they're dropping new music. So that's what I like to tell is promote the music, and that's what I like to write about.
No, I mean definitely I can see those. Like, anytime somebody's coming out with a new a new album or whatever, you're always all over it. So and with that being said, Romeo, do you ever just like what does it take for somebody to get an article written about them? As far as artist wise, like do you just kind of like go around, you float social? And again, I'm asking as a fan, like I'm asking as if somebody that doesn't know this, you know what I mean? Like, how do you, if 5 albums are coming out, how does Romeo pick which album to write about?
It's actually whoever gets me their information first. That's what I'm trying to do, because I mean I don't have the time to scour social media anymore. Now, back when I started TejanoNation, that's what I was doing, because I didn't have any information at all, didn't know anybody yet. I just, when I started TejanoNation back in 2015, I was looking for something to do from home, using the skills that I know. And in case you didn't know, I have special needs kids, and that's why I wanted to stay home, take care of them, and find a way to do this some work. And one day I was trying to look for information on Tejano artists, and I couldn't find anything. I was like, "There's nothing online anymore." I mean, there was a few websites from back in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, but they were pretty much all gone now. So I was like, I got these skills. Why don't I start up a thing? I started TejanoNation back in 2010. The idea, while I was between gigs, I was like, why don't I bring it back and start it up? So I did that. And when I first started, man, I had to, contact everybody. I would scour social media to find anything that's going on and I would write about that. So a couple of the artists, new artists were the easiest ones to get to. So I would write about the new artists first and promote the new artists. And so 5 years ago, I was like scouring Twitter, Facebook, everything back then. I don't know. I don't think MySpace was still around back then, but I was looking at every social media that I could. Now it's totally different. I don't have time to do social media because everybody is emailing me, DMing me,
Write about me,
texting me about the airport, which is I love. Only problem is I need you to send me the information, just because like right now I'll be like, hey, cool, you got a new song? Send me the info and everything you want me to write about the song, and I get an article put up there, and then I'll get an email with an MP3 saying here's my latest single. I was like, cool.
I got you.
I need more info. I need
and
a
Romeo,
bio.
How much of a day do you like when you do the little news clips? That's every single day, right?
Every weekday.
Every weekday, and you send those out. Like, do you have like just a list of emails that, hey, these are who I'm gonna send it to every day, and they get it like that? How do the radio stations get it?
Your radio stations get it via email. Send it out every morning. I get up every morning about 3:30, and I look over if there's any breaking news that happened overnight. I look it over. Oh, Miguel Hernandez just sent me his new single. So I'll try to do an article on that one. But so I write the news every morning. I get about 3:30. I look to see things there new. I already have an idea what I'm going to write from the night before, and then I put together the audio and send off the. Usually, I try and keep it at about a minute. I do 2 stories and I send them off to the stations. Right now, it's about 40 stations, terrestrial and internet, that I send off the news to every morning.
I want to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I used to get pissed off, dude, because you would do it. When here in San Antonio, KXDN was on FM. I remember they would do it, and they'd do it like, hey, stay tuned for some news, and like they would play you in like a certain part, and you're like, dude, like I want to know what's going on, and then you'd have to hear like 3 or 4 damn songs for it to come back, and then they would play the story, you know what I mean, that you wanted to hear. It'd keep you like, come on, bro, hurry up, like hurry this song up. I want to know what the hell's going on. I want to hear the news. I don't know.
That's called a tease, man.
So that's how you still do it, right?
Them. Yeah, you got to get that TSL for radio programmers. Listeners don't know about that. Time spent listening. You're trying to get that tease and get them listen to a little bit, like at least 15 minutes, a quarter hour. Yeah, that's what you try and do.
There you go. So there, you guys hear it right here from the horse's mouth. That's what they're doing. So if you were like me getting pissed off, like, God, dude, I want to see what this dude did. Like, why is he in jail? Like, you know what I mean? And you know what? it's crazy, Romeo, is that I tell this to all my friends, I think our people were the worst, dude. We love that kind of news. Anything that's bad, we're all over it. But say something good and we're like, okay, whatever. But something bad, everybody shares it. Everybody wants to know what's going on.
Oh yeah,
And it's
exactly.
I guess it's just human nature, man. You know what I mean? I think it's just human nature. But
Yeah,
dude,
you're right. I'm looking at the top trending stories from 2021, which I'm about to write an article for this week, and pretty much, let's see here. Yeah, they're pretty much the bad stories, or not the bad stories, but stories that people like to gossip about.
yeah,
Chris
no,
Perez and Abraham Quintanilla.
number one,
Let's see here. Javier Galvan,
Joe Lopez.
Joe Lopez. Yeah, he's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. That's what sells too. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, that's what you watch any kind of TV, any kind of these shows that they do. That's what sells. But I like to think that I'm trying to bring something positive to the Onda Tejana with artists and interviews and stuff like that. And again, man, I just can't tell you how grateful I am that you opened your arms to me in a sense from the very first time that I called you, man. Because a lot of people they're not really like that. First of all, somebody named Bumper Gomez calls you, you're probably saying, "What in the hell? And who the hell is this guy?" You know what I mean? But you were very like you didn't skip a beat with me. You're like, "No, bro, hey, do it. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Just you know what I mean." And I mean, I've been talking to you since way before we had a shitload of viewers. You know what I mean? You were like, just keep at it. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm very honored and thankful for that. That you were to open up the doors to TejanoNation to Bumper's Wacky Wednesday, man. I appreciate
Oh yeah,
that.
that's what the Nation's for. It's all inclusive. We want to make sure everybody is heard. So I mean, I saw what you were doing when you talked to me about it, and I was like, yeah, let's help promote it some more. I'm here to help. That's what the Nation's here is here to help promote what you're doing, and everybody's invited. That's what the whole thing's about, the Nation. And I've had so many people who wanted to come and help and write, and over the few years, like I've had a lot of great people who have helped out. I got to shout out to Mingo Mariano, Fanny Carrion, DJ Peaches, Civic Carizales. There's so many more. Norma Jean or Gina Inc., things like that. Everybody who's written articles or who's done interviews for the Nation over the past almost 6 years now, that the Nation has been the current way the Nation is
Mm-hmm.
helped out so much. And I'm always looking for anybody who wants to help out and write or do interviews. You're more than welcome to help out and join the Nation. I mean, like
Yeah.
I consider you, Bumper, as part of the Nation team. So
Hell yeah. See that I'm part of the Tejano Nation team, man. So and I think that's what makes us great, Romeo, is that we're on the same team, bro. We're trying to do the same thing. And I I have conversations all week with my friends who are artists and whatnot, and that's what I really try to push to them. You know what I mean? Like it's just about helping each other, like trying to make again, I don't like saying the word trying to go back to the way it was. No, because it'll never be the way it was. But we need to be positive and move forward with the genre. And what you're doing helps greatly because it's on social media, it's on the radio, it's on internet radio, it's on what everybody's doing. I want to say that the Onda Tejana, maybe in the last 7 or 8 years, has really finally absorbed and taken on social media and using it like all the other genres. Like I want to say like we were kind of one of the last ones to jump on that wagon. What's your take
yeah,
on that?
yeah, I think so. But what I like about the Hano genre right now, or the culture, it's evolving. You look at some of these great producers: Gabriel Zavala, Mario Ortiz, Sevi Contreras. All these great guys are evolving the sound with some of these new artists, and that's what we need. I mean, like look at country music. I mean, the classic country heads, they're not liking the new kind of country that's out there, but it's selling, right? It's crossing over. So that's what we need too. That's what I believe what we need for Tejano Nation. I mean, we still need the classic sounds. I mean, there's a lot of great bands out there that have the classic Tejano sound, but we need those new artists to kind of evolve Tejano music and Tejano culture and get it out there and get it out there to places where it hasn't been yet. That's what my goal is. We have the TejanoNation radio show that I never thought that it would be on the air in Washington D.C., Colorado, Utah, Idaho. I'm like, wow, the people over at Hispanic Radio Network have expanded the show greatly, and it's still growing to this day. So I'm like, very excited about the future of Tejano Nation, the future of Tejano culture and Tejano music.
See, and you say a word in there that just it sparks me up. I already get like, hell yeah, he said it. He said the word before me, and the word is culture. You know, of course, we're promoting music, but we're also promoting our culture, who we are, and what we are. And so, you know, I really think that people need to take that in, absorb that, and be who we are. The music is a piece, but let's be excited and you know, just I guess excited about who we are. Don't be, and I'm not saying that people are ashamed of who we are, but you know, and I always say this, Romeo, like I know we're a melting pot. I get it. I'm proud to be an American. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. But I'm also proud to be a Tejano. I'm also proud to be a Chicano, and I will never let that go. Like I want to spread that love as much as I can to anybody and everybody that I come across, whether they're Mexicano or Chicano or not. You know what I mean? I mean, Tejano music is just not to Hispanic people. I got a crap load of friends of that they're not either white, black, right? That love Tejano music because they grew up here in Texas. It's a part of who they are. It's a part of the culture. It's part of growing up here. I mean, think about living in South Texas, bro. Who has never been to a quinceañera? Like, I mean, if you live anywhere south of Dallas, brother, you've been to a quinceañera. You know what I mean? For the most part. And you go to a quinceañera, well, you're going to get cultured right in your face. Boom. You know what I mean? Oh, my girlfriend's in the quinceañera. Well, I'm going to stand up with her. Next thing you know, you got, you know, some white parents sitting in the pews of a church and their son standing in quinceañera. They have no idea what's about to happen in about 3 hours when they get to that ballroom. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
But you just grow to love it, dude. And I really like the fact that you throw that word around in there because it's just your Tejano Nation is just not about music. It's about our culture. You know what I mean? You write stuff about art. I've seen you write stuff about different art things that they're having around San Antonio. I think one you just wrote about the Chicano art exhibit here in San Antonio, right?
Yeah, and there's that, and then there's the Chicano Film Festival. It's going to be in San Antonio in July.
And they were looking for, you shared that they were looking for, you know, if you have a film, you know what I mean? They were looking for films to look at. So again, man, you know, it's just great. And I couldn't be happier with having you, the first guy on 2022. I know when we talked about the show, you were like, Bumper, nobody wants to see me. Nobody wants to hear what I got to say, but I want to hear what you want to say. You know what I mean? I want to hear what you got to say. I have questions for the man and the brains behind Tejano Nation because it's huge, bro. I mean, I know it's when you're living in it, you're in it, you breathe it all day, whatever. You kind of just like, it just becomes like, okay, I'm Romeo, Tejano Nation. But you know, people look forward to the articles. People look forward to listening to your voice of, you know, on Tuesday, what is he going to talk about? Who's in trouble? You know what I mean? Who comes out with a new album? So I want to let you know that for me personally, like, you know, I really dig it. And I'm sure all the people, like I'm looking at I'm just, you know, peeking over here to the comments. And you know who's in the comments? All artists. You know, all artists. Because, you know, you're respected in a sense, bro. And that's kind of why I asked you about staying mutual. Because I wanted that to be known that, you know, you're a very mutual person. You don't ever really pick sides. You're just bringing the news the way you get it. You take it for what it's worth.
Just reporting the news, good or bad. That's what you know, journalists do. We just report. We try not to. Well, there's certain journalists, you know, that in the mainstream media that, you know, kind of lean one way or another. But true journalists are right down the middle. We just report what the news are. We tell you what's going on. And that's pretty much how I was taught, and that's what I do today with Tejano Nation, and that's how all the writers and that we have for Tejano Nation do as well. So that's our plan, is to spread the Tejano culture.
That's right, man. That's right. I just got a thing that came across my screen. If you're watching me on a phone, get your butt in a car. Whether you believe in gambling or not, I don't care. Go to your 7-Eleven, your Circle K, your Diamond Shamrocks, whatever the hell you go to, and make sure you go buy you a ticket. It's a Powerball ticket, I think. It's like $622 million. So I just threw it out there for the lottery people. Shout out to Bonnie Hernandez, man. Another great disc jockey, you know what I'm saying? And she always promoting the show. So Bonnie, hello. Happy New Year. And welcome to a show with Romeo from TejanoNation, man. Romeo, the amount of articles that you write, dude, do you ever get tired? Honestly, because I hate writing.
No, I don't really get tired of it. I just the word I don't have enough time to write what I want to write. So that's why sometimes I mean like there was more time of the day where I had an assistant or something to help me out with the other stuff, like, hey, you answer the phone calls while I write, you know, that kind of thing. Make me some lunch while I write. But no.
Hey Romeo, are you one of those guys that can kind of like look anywhere and like talk to somebody and your fingers still go of what you're saying?
Yeah, actually, my wife thinks it's crazy because she would watch me on the air every once in a while and be like, how can you read and talk and do what you were doing at the same time? You're doing 3 things at once. I was like, I don't know, just something I can do. Most radio DJs can do that because we can count down in our head as we're trying to hit the post of a song, which means we're trying to talk over the intro.
Right.
So we're using math in our head while reading what we're talking about while talking on the air and making sure we're watching the levels that's going on with the stuff. So, I mean, I'm just used to doing it. I've been doing it since I was a teenager. So it's kind of natural to me.
That's crazy, man. No, I believe, you know, I can't do that. There's no way. I'm one of those guys, like, if I'm writing something, please don't talk to me. Don't, because if I'm texting and you're writing me and I'm trying to carry a conversation, that conversation between me and you is going to be in the text. Like, I'm going to start texting what I'm talking about. and I can't do that, man. I admire people who can do like more than one thing at one time. Like, literally, I cannot do that, man. To cost me
it's
my
called
life,
multitasking.
Oh yeah, I know what it's called. I'm just saying there ain't no multitasking going on here, man. Romeo, if think about all the years that you've been, you know, in the industry, and I'm speaking on Tejano music, is there ever a story that just captivated you in a sense to where you can go back to it, or, you know, good or bad, something that just like it really hurt you, or you were just so excited to write? Either way, you know, for your fans of TejanoNation, is there something that you could share with us, maybe that, you know, that stuck out to you to this day, or you ever just have a day and you remember writing that article, good or bad?
I'm trying to think, but there's none that I can think of right now. I mean, it's kind of like asking me, you know, which one of my kids do I love the most, you know?
Oh yeah.
My wife is laughing as I said that. But no, because I try to put everything I can into every single article. I'm trying to think of an article that I wrote that I was like, man, wait till they see this one. You know, I guess it probably was like the big one when Abraham and Chris Perez was going through all that legal drama. I mean, like, I had to like, oh, I got to get this out. I got to definitely, because people want to know what's going on with, because Selena was one of the biggest artists in Tejano music. Her husband, her father, their, you know, fans are all upset that, you know, that Chris was getting sued, but, you know, he had signed a contract before that he would share some of whatever he's doing, and he's still getting paid. A lot of fans don't know that, but he's still getting, you know, that quarter royalties from everything that Selena does. Anything that Selena Corporation does, he gets that 1/4 royalty.
Yeah, I heard that on you know, and I'm a fan of all podcasts. People are like, hey, do you listen? Yeah, I listen to AC Cruz. I love his podcast. Especially when I'm driving. Like, if I'm going long distance, man, I'll listen to 5 or 6. And shout out to AC Cruz, man. And his podcasts are so they're one, entertaining, and two, very, very, like, you learn a lot of stuff that you wouldn't have known about that artist or story. And I remember him, the one he did with Abraham and multiple parts where he said that, that, Chris, there's a 4 parts. It's AB, Suzette, Mr. Quintanilla and Selena. And, when Selena passed away, that Mr. Quintanilla said, hey, well, Chris is going to get Selena's part, whatever it is having to do with Selena, they'll cut it into 4s. And, people have asked me like, hey, would you, I don't, if I was to ever get to interview, Chris, you know what? I'll be honest with people. I'd probably piss a lot of people off just because I don't think I would ask anything about Selena. If that makes any sense. Like it would all be about who Chris Bettis is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
me too.
That's just the way I would do it. I mean, what hasn't he answered already in all the years? You know what I mean? So
I'm sure he's answered it multiple times.
Multiple times, exactly. So
my question for him would be like, okay, what exactly are the ingredients you put in your pepper sauce?
There you go. That would be great. Like, what is the hottest shit that you ever eaten before, or something like that. But Romeo, and so that's like one thing, you know what I mean? But as Tejanos, we have our ups and downs, dude. We really do. And the genre, I like to ask professional questions to people who have been around the business for a long time. And if you watch the show, you know that I've interviewed promoters, the artists, the guys who do sound, just like the whole variety of stuff, man. But what do you think that we need? Like, where do you see our genre right now? And I hate to put you in a situation like that, but it's Wacky Wednesday, bro. I got to do it. I mean, what do you think our genre is right now? Like its status right now?
I think it's trying to make a comeback. That's what, at least what we're trying to do, right? That's what all of us are trying to do. Is we know that the '90s were the golden ages, and after Selena died, the 2000s weren't as good. But I mean, there was a lot of great music that came out in the 2000s. And right now, what I love about this La Onda right now is because there's this huge wave, which I like that La Onda. There's this huge wave of talented female vocalists that are entering Tejano music right now. And I think it's great for Tejano music because they're bringing that great sound, and they're bringing that, like I said, they're evolving the music. And that's what I like about right now. So I think we're on the cusp of making a comeback. And that's my plan with TejanoNation, with the radio show, with the website, is to expand Tejano music and Tejano culture to everybody out there. That's my goal right now. Everybody talks about this. The Latin Grammys, Tejano music, Tejano albums are considered with regional Mexican. My goal is to get an actual best Tejano album at the Latin Grammys, which they have Latin Grammys, but at the Grammys,
Like
and then
it used
also,
to be.
and then also at these other like Premios Juventud, they don't have a Tejano category. Why not? I mean, like all these,
Don't get me started. Don't get me started
shows.
because it's
So
not
that's
just
my goal. Yeah.
I hear you. And what's crazy is what people don't really realize is this. Is the buying power. Listen to what I'm saying to my faithful friends and people here on Facebook. The buying power of raza is a level that you have that we can't even understand. You can't even comprehend. We're becoming the majority of this country, but yet we're the least. And I had this conversation with Little Joe, Romeo, like we're the least represented in everything. Yeah. You name something, we're the least represented. In government, we're the least represented. Newscasters, I'm just using that as an example, we're the least represented. Radio, we're the least represented. Right? But then we get into, like you just said, right? We get into the Grammys. Let's just say the Latin Grammys. The Latin Grammys, if you watch the show, all the artists are going to be Spanish pop artists, or they're going to be reggaeton. Mm-hmm. They're going to be maybe a merengue or a salsa. How many times do you see on prime time, the actual show, a guy wearing a cowboy hat and some boots and an accordion and a bajo sexto. You ain't gonna see it. Every now and then, Intocable, every now and then, you know, and I said this the other day, you know, somebody like, and what we're saying is the group is not Tejano, Grupo Firme. They're breaking barriers. They're doing what me and you are saying. They are doing it now with their music. They're doing that. They're saying, hey, you know what I mean? We're trying to bring this music to everybody. It just doesn't have to be regional Mexican. We're bringing it to everybody. And so, you know, the Tejano thing is, you know, you're right. Why aren't we represented in the Latin Grammys? We're huge. We're a huge population. We buy a shitload of music. But sometimes it just, to me, it just gets political, and you know, well, we don't really want to see that. That's not really cool. You know what I mean? A guy up there with an accordion and a bajo sexto, that's not really cool. But yet we're the majority of the country, where, you know, the majority of the people in the United States, that's what they're raised on. Mexican Americans, I mean, that's our music is accordion music with a bajo sexto, or, you know, the old Tejano orchestra sound with all the horns and stuff. But you're not going to hear that on the Grammy Awards. You're not going to see the artist. So, and I know we're going off on all kinds of tangents, but it's Wacky Wednesday. That's what we do, Romeo. And I think what me and you are trying to do is just trying to keep us, like, our people here. Like, hey, come on, let's support our own people. Let's support our own artists. Let's support the new female artists. Let's support the new artists that are coming out there. You say it week after week after week. You know, the 90s music was the bomb. And those hits will always be hits. Always. But as a fan base, we have to be open to new music, man. We do. We have to be open to new music. We have to be open to new artists. And you know what, Romeo, I like that you write about everybody. That's one thing about you. You write about everybody. A artist, B artist, C artist, it don't matter. You can label them whatever you want. If they're in the Tejano genre, you're writing about them.
Hey, they're all A artists to me. They're all A artists to me, and I support them. And I mean, we're going back to, like, expanding Tejano music. We look at the winner of the best Tejano album in the Latin Grammys this year. They're Mexicanos who love Tejano music. El Plan. They won the Latin Grammy for their great album, and they did a medley, a duet with Bobby Pulido. I mean, like, and they love Tejano music. Monterrey loves Tejano music down there, and that's what they like to. They're slowly doing that. A lot of artists you're gonna be seeing a lot of artists coming out of Monterrey very soon.
Dude,
so I'm kind of seeing that right now.
Monterrey, Destiny and Rigo Navaida were here a couple of weeks ago, and they lived there. I shout out if they're listening. Yeah. And they lived there, and they were like, you know, after the show we talked, we stayed up talking, and, you know, they're like, Mom, you just don't have an idea. And, you know, my friends that are artists that have been in the industry for many years and that played down there, they're like, Mom, you just don't get it. Like, you have to be down there to understand. Like, I'll give an example. David Olivares from Houston can play. You know, we get 500 to 1,000 people in a place that's packed here right now. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. I mean, unless you're, you know, right now Signal or somebody like that. I mean, and no offense to any other bands, but if you get 500 to 1,000 people, that's a crap load of people for a Tejano concert or a dance. You know, but they can cross the border and go to Monterrey, and they'll be on the stage bigger than you've ever seen in your life, and there'll be 10,000 people out there singing every word to one of their songs. You know what I mean? That's the difference. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the difference, you know, and you're absolutely right. I was kind of shocked on the Plan, you know, winning that award at the Latin Grammy. One, to be real with you, I never even heard of him. And I think that I wasn't the only one in that boat, and a lot of people came out and said, hey, what the hell? But as I took, you know, I listened to both, you know, when people that were upset, and then people like, no, they deserved it. You know, you just said they just, like, I didn't even know they did a song with Bobby Pulido and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, what's your take? Does Tejano music does Tejano have to be? You're within the confines of the state of Texas.
No, no, that's like saying that a hip hop artist has to be from New York or L.A. And that's hip hop artists can be from anywhere. I mean, like, or even country artists. They have to be from Nashville. They have to be from Tennessee. No. So,
No.
or they have to be from the South. No, they have country artists that come from all over. So, I think that my one of the goals is for us to expand the house music to everyone, and you're going to be seeing artists coming from Nevada. Shout out to our girl
Carla
up there in Nevada
Cristina.
who's moving to San Antonio. Yeah,
Yeah,
Carla
hell yeah.
Cristina.
I opened up the show tonight with her song, and we can't wait to we're gonna welcome her here in San Antonio with open arms, and get ready to show the world who she is. But again, Romeo, the Tejano genre, I just think me and you, we just need to do more. Like we can always do more. We can do more. We can do more. And you said to make it, well, you didn't literally say that, but kind of like the '90s, but now, like,
Yeah,
how do we reach these? How do we reach the younger generation to keep this going? Because you go to a dance now, man, and like if you see somebody in their 20s, they're too and far in between. And I'm
I think
being
it starts with us as parents. We need to show our kids the culture, the Tejano music, Tejano culture. There's more to Tejano music than Selena. That's all they know is Selena because of the movie. So we need to show them the music that we grew up with. Like our parents kind of showed us. My parents showed us little Joe and Latin Breed and artists like that. We need to show our kids like artists like Destiny Nevada and Isabel Marie and and some of the great veterans out there like David Lee Garza, who's probably has one of the best albums ever with
hey, did
1392.
you put any money in for that accordion?
No, but I was trying to add it up in my head. I was like 100 people, $100 a
That's
thing.
$10,000,
That's an expensive accordion, man.
dude. But it's the actual accordion from the album
Yeah,
cover. It's
exactly.
so. Me and my wife were saying the same thing. She's like, "Oh my goodness, that's a lot for an accordion." I said, "But you're not looking. You're not seeing the point. The point is, what is it? 1392?
Yeah.
Is that the? It's from that album." And I showed her the picture. She's like, "Oh, okay." And it says David Lee got us on there. Like, come on, that would be. That'd be a man cave, or I don't know. I don't even know if I would show anybody that. It would just be just for me. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know,
Well, yeah, when you
David
think
Lee,
about it, $100 to get something like that, that's like a eBay steal.
oh yeah, definitely. So if you don't know, I don't know if there's any slots left because I mean that thing filled up quick. David Lee Garza, you can find him on Facebook, in the search box. Type in David Lee Garza, and he has the actual accordion from the 1392 album up for grabs. And he's doing a raffle. So you pay
Yeah.
$100, you pick your number, and he'll do the raffle. And if you pick your name out, well, you win that David Lee Garza accordion, man. So again, that'd be a great gift for any David Lee Garza, or shoot, any Tejano fan, man. Any Tejano fan at that. Romeo, you said you were a dad of one or two special need kids,
Two special needs sons.
two special needs sons.
Mhm.
When I found that out, man, and then to see all the work that you still do, bro, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. So, if you're an artist out there and maybe you've sent some stuff in and maybe Romeo just didn't get to what you wanted him to write about. This guy's a full-time dad, man. And he, he still finds it a way to get all the information for us. And so again, Romeo, I can't thank you enough for that, bro. I mean, if I could, I would, I don't know. That deserves a standing ovation, bro, because you do put a lot of effort into keeping us informed of what's going on with our culture and our music. And yet you're still at home taking care of your sons, man. That says a lot about you, brother.
That's why I do some of my work at 3:30 in the morning. um,
To get
yeah, that's when they're asleep. When they sleep, but yeah, it's. I mean, it's fun being a dad with these great kids here. We all together, me and my wife, we have 6 kids together. So, and we have 3 of us with us at home and 3 older ones. And yeah, I just try and find time as I can when they let me work. They see that I'm working over here, or even my son with Down syndrome. He see me about to record on the mic. He'll turn down his little tablet and let me record my whatever I'm recording, and then he says, "You done? Okay, cool. Let me go back and listen to my stuff." So,
I
so
got
they
you.
understand. They help out.
That's awesome, man. That's amazing. Again, it's just amazing that you can, deal with that and still do what you do for us. Um, and you know what, Romeo? I know the artists appreciate it, dude, because we don't have a newspaper. We don't have, you know what I mean? I think, and this I don't know because I was gone from Texas in the '90s, man. Um, but I'm sure like the San Antonio papers, the Corpus papers, every weekend there was probably some kind of editorial of some kind of Tejano music or something Tejano going on. But that's not there anymore, you know.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
not there anymore. I mean, there used to be it's like here's what's happening. Actually, Silvio Carrizales, who writes for the Hano Nation, used to write the Hano Beat for the San Antonio Express News a few years ago, and they kind of did without that now. Now it's only if some big news happens at the Hano Music they'll report it. Usually it's the bad stuff. So, and that's the only time that we'll get some airtime or anything like that.
and that's sad, right? That we don't get no love unless it's somebody getting a Tejano artist getting picked up for a DUI or you know whatever the case may be,
Child support.
child
Yeah.
support, all those things that any other man would get picked up would you would never make the news, but since you play an accordion or play a bajo or you got some great vocals, well, we're gonna go ahead and make it public for everybody to know. So
Yeah.
here's a good comment. Familia Aguilar, all the way from Arizona. Shout out to all the Familia Aguilar. Familia Aguilar, Arizona. Born and raised in Arizona and was raised on Puro Tejano Conjunto music. And uh, as I had to have raised my kids and my grandchildren on Tejano Conjunto music. That's what it takes. That's what
Yeah.
exactly what you
Exactly.
said, Romeo. We got to teach our kids to love our music, and there's nothing wrong with other music, dude. I mean, I grew up listening to, I grew up, in my high school days, with gangster rap and NWA, and that, I love that stuff. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, but I was always true to my Tejano roots. Like, I couldn't wait. I've said this before on some of my other shows. Like, I couldn't wait for La Fiebre to come to town, La Mafia, Maz, like, and back then the tickets were 12, $15, dude. And you
Yeah.
know me, it goes to show you, 12, $15, $15 pre-sale, $20 at the door in 1992, 1993, 1991. And that was a lot of money back then, dude.
Yeah.
And
It
yet
was.
we go to a show here, it's $15 to get in, and we're like, $15? Come on, bro. We've been paying the same amount for 20 something years. You know what I'm saying? We got to give these guys make a living trying to entertain us, and we have to support them, man, any way we can. Um, and again, I think the Tejano Nation just does a great job of supporting the artist in all kinds of ways, man. And like I said, I couldn't wait to do this show because, you're very important to our onda, dude. I don't know if you realize that. You know what I mean? I know you're here in an interview. You're kind of, we're doing it remotely, but if you were here, I really would be looking at you straight up, telling you, man, how important you are to our industry.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I really don't see myself as that way. I just see myself as somebody who's trying to find a way to expand our culture, our Tejano culture, and get it out there to make it bigger than it was back in the '90s. And that's my goal is to help it grow to even bigger than that. And the only way you can do that is to tell people about it. And like back in the days, how would back in the because I'm a big history buff. Back in the 1700s, how would they tell it? They would do the town crier would yell out there, "Hey, listen to this, listen to that," and or here's the news. And that's my goal is to tell people about these great Tejano artists, this great Tejano music, this great Tejano culture every day. That's my goal. I try to do it every single day. And um, if you want to come along with the ride, come on and help me.
And what people don't really get is that Romeo really doesn't go out to these events. Like he's. I mean, how do you get? So the people you get it from people that are working for you out there on the at the events, and they kind of give you back the stuff, and you write it up, or how do you do that?
Yeah. Before COVID, I used to go out to the events, but with special needs kids, it's kind of hard with COVID. Um, so I have a great team of people who help out. I got to send a shout out to the great photographers in the Tejano industry, like Maria Elena Villarreal, Tommy Guns, Vic Gonzalez, great people like that who go out to these events and photograph these artists and help out and let me use their photographs to tell a story about the artists and what's going on with them or their new album or whatever's going on. And so I got to send a shout out to all those great photographers who are out there every day, all these events, taking pictures at all these big festivals. So I mean, they're the true journalists out there. Is those guys, and then the whole team that helps out with the TejanoNation. I got to send a shout out to all of them. There's so many to kind of go through, but I have to thank the whole team that helps out with the TejanoNation to help us bring the news to everybody.
Yeah, and it people, it doesn't take much, man. We read stupid shit all the time. Stop what you're doing. Go to TejanoNation.net. Check it out. If you he is on all radio stations. I mean, there's not a station that I listen to that I don't hear Romeo's voice at some point or the other. You know what I mean? He does. You do, and now, dude, you even got a Sunday show, right?
Yeah, I have a weekend show called TejanoNation. It's syndicated in I think almost 20 markets now, terrestrial stations, and then a whole bunch of internet stations as well. And yeah, it's all over. I mean, there's a few markets in Texas we don't have yet, but we're pretty much on all these stations. And like I said, it's on the air in DC, Washington DC, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, and so it's crazy expanding.
And who's spinning that music
I
for
have
you?
a phone number, by the way. If you want to call in and request a song, send a shout out. Call us up 1-866-3-Tejano. That's 866-383-5266. And it's amazing what the phone calls I get from Colorado. I said, like, I got to send a shout out to Connie in Colorado. She calls every week now. She goes, "Hey, it's Connie from Colorado." Or I mean, we now have callers every week that call in, and it's crazy how much the show has expanded, and I'm very excited about what the future for 2022 has for the show.
Yeah, man. I was with the Joker, man, Ricky Duran. They're from Houston, Houston'sTejanoHits.com. And he's on mentally. He put on there mentally challenging is in our industry. Continue to support radio stations, support other stations, radio personalities supporting one another, artists supporting other artists. I love that. That's how we have to be, man. Because I say it every week. There's a buffet at this table, and there's enough food for everybody to eat. There's no reason to stick your elbows out and keep the guy to your left or your right down. If anything, man, reach out a hand, pick them up, and bring them up and help them, sit next to you to eat at the table. That's how we should be, and I think our industry will really benefit from that and grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And my job is to what my job is to do is to make others shine. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, like I know everybody talks about the Hanos in this crab bucket mentality, where bring people down. Well, I'm the crab that's trying to push you up above that, and you pull me up once you get out. So that's my job. I'm trying to try and support you and make you shine. That's what I want to do. And yeah,
you did it with me. Like I mean, I know you probably don't see it, but me reaching out to you, you could have been like, bro, I don't even know who the hell you are. Like go climb up another tree or something. But you were just open with me. We had a long conversation. You were like, Okay, this is what you want. Let's do it. Do it, bro. Do it. And shout out to you, people like Rock and Roll James. You know, he has hashtag PVT. Great show. You know, I watch when I'm not doing my show. I'm watching anybody that has one. I pick up here and there. Shout out to Música y Más. There's a whole bunch. They're out there. Like you just have to look for them. There's people out there supporting the industry and supporting our artists, and we just have to support them. You know what I'm saying? We have to do what we have to do for them. So, Romeo, if you were doing anything else right now, what would it be? If I took away TejanoNation, if I took away TejanoNation from you, what would you be doing?
Let's see here. If I didn't, I don't know. I always wanted to be a history teacher, so that was like my second career goal. Or
dude, we have that in common, bro. That's crazy.
You know how you know how in high school you had to pick those 3 things for career days. That way you go talk to those people.
Yeah.
One of them was well, my first one was I wanted to be Quincy. I don't remember that show back in the day. Quincy. That was my goal. I want to be Quincy, but then I found out you had to go to school for 12 more years after high school, and then 4 more years of medical school or something like that. I was like, nah, that's okay. I was like, hey, I like listening to Tony Fly and Elvis Duran, and they seem like they have a fun job. So one of the guys actually came and talked to us at our career day, and I was like, I think I could do that. Yeah, so why not? I went to college, and so like I could be on the radio. I could do that. So and the third one is a history teacher. If I wanted to do something else, I wanted to teach Texas history or U.S. history. So
hell yeah,
I'm a big history buff. I can watch History Channel all day long. It puts my wife to sleep, but I can watch it all day.
Dude, we share that in common. I love history. A lot of people don't know that, but I just if I get a book and read, and especially if it's about us, when I say us, like history from here in South Texas or good or bad, I'm in it. Like I can't put it down. I got to just keep reading because, as I said before, I don't think that our history is taught enough to us here in Texas or anywhere. And so have you ever done an article where you talk about the history of Tejano music? So where you could put your love of wanting to be a history teacher and your love for the music and your knowledge of the genre and put it together in an article that we could share the shit out of all over the place. Every young person we know, if you read anything today, we want you to read this.
Now, I didn't write it, but some people who have more knowledge about Tejano history wrote it, the article. There's a few articles on Tejano history at TejanoNation.net. You just got to write in, Tejano history. There's also another artist or another writer that wrote a great article about Lydia Mendoza, I guess you could say the first queen of Tejano music from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great article about her. And I learned more about Lydia Mendoza article than I ever have anywhere else. But I leave those up to the historians. Like, I would love to, there's a person I'd like to have a conversation with. There's like some great historians that have been around Tejano music for a long time. Ramon Hernandez. Oh my goodness. I want to meet that guy one day. I have never met him. Ramon Hernandez. He has his own little website. He goes around taking photos. He wrote a book about Little Joe.
A little short guy who's wearing dark glasses, right?
Yes. Exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I never met him.
Who you're talking about.
But he has a plethora of Tejano music. I mean, according to what I've heard, his house could be a Tejano history museum, Tejano music history museum. Yeah, so much stuff.
Don't tell me, Romeo, because I'm gonna find this guy and I'm gonna take Bumpers Wacky Wednesday on the road.
We should find him and we should take him to lunch or something because I want to. This is like if you're asking somebody who's like, is there anybody you'd ever want to have to meet or have lunch with or learn from? But I want Hernandez. If you're watching, listening, man,
To the
Reach out.
viewers, if
I'll
you know
reach out, yeah.
Ramon, please, my number's on the Bumpers Wacky Wednesday page. Hit up me, hit up Romeo on TejanoNation.net. Let us know how we can get a hold of this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would love to sit, like you're right. Me and Romeo take him to dinner and just poke at him all night, and then hopefully maybe, get it doesn't even have to be a Wednesday. Like if his house is a Tejano museum, can you imagine just doing a walk around interview with a phone and just talking to him and having him talk about this or that? That would be great, man. That would be because I love history. I love it. And then if it's about our music and our culture, shit, don't get no better than that. So
exactly.
If you guys know him or you know how to get a hold of him, please let us know. We would love this is for me and Romeo. We would love to sit down and have a lunch or dinner with him, and then maybe hopefully get a interview with him. I saw him. He was selling a book, and it was either at a Little Joe concert or it was at an awards. I wanted, it might have been, I don't know what it was. It was one of those things, but he was selling his stuff off to the side. And dude, you're right, bro. You got the hairs on my arm standing up like, Bob, we have to find this guy. So Ramon.
Yeah, he wrote it. His book was written about Little Joe.
Have you read Little Joe's bio? His biography?
Yes. I interviewed Little Joe when the book came out.
What'd you think?
Oh, it was great, man. Everybody wants it.
Dude, he is such a cool cat, bro.
Yeah.
Such a cool. He's Little Joe, bro, and I'm still right now in awe that he came here and he sat down in the studio and we got to talk for a little bit, and dude, as soon as we started talking about our history, his eyes just like lit up, and he after the show we said like we could have literally talked 2 or 3 more hours on just Chicano history and culture, not even about music. You know what I mean? Because these guys have been through it, man. They've been around for 40, 50, 60 years almost, jamming out. They've seen the ups and downs, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, again, to any viewers, if anybody knows I'm on, please reach out to them and give them, my number is 949-456-7576. You're probably not going to remember it, but if you go to Wacky Wednesday's page, it's there in the information. I would love to, let's see, when I started after the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, World War I started after the assassin. So somebody's
exactly, yes.
talking about
World War I started after Franz Ferdinand's assassination. Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude, Romeo, I think what me and you are doing is not going unnoticed, for sure. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're being syndicated all over the place. And when you say the word syndicated, to the common person who doesn't know, explain what syndication means.
It means that radio stations are always looking for great shows to air on their station. They're looking for, nowadays we call it content. And I happened to put together a 2-hour show along with, I started to shout out to Jam and J Javi as well. He mixes the great music, the great hits of the Tejano music, and I just happened to talk over the songs, and we do little snippets of the interviews that we do, and do the top trending stories from the TejanoNation every week. And it started out in a small little in San Angelo, the station I was working at a couple years ago, and then a station in Abilene, which is near San Angelo, heard it. So like, hey, I would like to have that show on my radio station. So shout out to Pete Garcia at La Voz 93.3 in Abilene. That's when it became syndicated, when he wanted to air the show in Abilene. So they started off San Angelo, Abilene, and then it ballooned from there. It went to all the other stations. It went to Lubbock. It's now on in KSAB in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Super Tejano 102.1 down in the valley. Bryan College Station, Nacogdoches, Lufkin, Tyler. It's crazy how much it's expanded, and like pretty much if you go to anywhere in the state of Texas during the weekend, you turn in if your favorite station, and even the ones in Lufkin and Nacogdoches, those are regional Mexican stations that are airing Tejano Nation. They air, regional. They don't play the. They find that they need a way to give their listeners Tejano music, and they said Tejano Nation is a great way for them to do it. 2 hours of nonstop Tejano hits with great news on their favorite artists, and they air it on Sundays or Saturday nights or whenever they want to air it.
That's awesome. And
And
people here, bro, we're spoiled, dude. People in Texas, if you live near a metropolis that has an an FM Tejano station, you're spoiled in a sense. I got cousins that live in Bakersfield, California, and in Bakersfield, California, man, they're in Visalia, and there's some other towns. There's a lot of Tejanos that were transplanted. They were originally, they're Tejanos and they lived in California, and they're generations deep, but they love the music. But over there, it's regional Mexican is king, and so
yeah,
they only get Tejano music on Sundays for like 3 or 4 hours. You know what I mean? And they play nothing but Tejano music. And I remember visiting them like, hey man, you guys are listening to, oh, that's David Lee. Like, oh yeah, we only got an hour and a half, and then it'll go back to regular Mexican music. They gave us 3 hours, and I thought that was cool. Like, just the fact that they would give them, air some Tejano music in another state, for a few hours. I thought that was pretty cool, man. And Jammin' J Hobby, dude, that guy, to me, again, I'm not gonna piss a lot of people off, but Jammin' J Hobby's a bad dude, bro, when it comes to mixing Tejano music.
yeah, he's the best. I guess you would say he's like the apex of Tejano DJs. If you're a wrestling fan, I guess you call him the apex predator, right?
Yeah, the apex. But so I have a friend in Florida. Shout out to my buddy DJ Moyo, and we used to talk back in the day. We would go at it, and I have some other friends too that they can mix and stuff. But I always said that I would pay money to put DJ Moyo from Florida next to Jammin' J Javi and just have them like do a duel. Like, all right, man, you got 4 songs, go, bam. All right, you got 4 songs, go, bam. You know what I mean? And because they're both just, to me, they're legendary DJs, man. Jammin' J Javi, I mean, that guy, he does it all. So how does it work? Do you guys work in the same studio, or it's kind of like you do the voices and he does the music, and you kind of like put it together?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. We produce it on like tomorrow morning. I produce the show every Thursday. He'll send me the mixes of the hits for and I'll look over what he sent me, and I'll find good little places where I can do some long talk breaks and put together some of the audio snippets from the artist, and we put it together, a 2-hour show, and then we send it off to all the affiliates for them to air during the weekend.
And with that being said, to Romeo, so if you're a small company, does Tejano Nation take what would you call it, where you promote companies on your either on your radio show or on your website? Can people do that with you?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we were looking for sponsors all the time. Anybody wants to sponsor the website, you can. Now, the radio show is a little bit different. You have to go through the syndicator, Hispanic Radio Network, because they're the ones who are in charge of syndicating the show to all the affiliates and expanding the show. And then they also get the advertisers for the show, and they send it off to the affiliates. So if you want to advertise on the show, you have to go through them. But for the website, just let me know.
And that's awesome, man. If you're a small company and you want to get your name out there, people are looking at this all the time, man. So if you want to sponsor Tejano Nation, hit up Tejano Nation at TejanoNation.net. Hit up Romeo. If you want to sponsor Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, man, you're a small business, hit me up, dude. We can work something out. I love having sponsors. It does help. It does pay some bills around here, and it gives me a little motivation to keep the show rolling, man.
Yeah.
Romeo, let me ask you, what's your take on TikTok and the Tejano TikTokers, the people who promote the hell out of in however way, comedy, realness, whatever. Do you have a take on that?
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, any way to spread and expand Tejano music and culture, it's just another platform. TikTok came out, and uh, fortunately, TikTok has created some great content creators. I mean, like there's a lot of great ones out there, and even have some of them that help out with TejanoNation every once in a while. And so, yeah, I mean, TikTok is a great tool, a great platform to help expand Tejano music. So it's another great tool. Like social media, there's gonna be if there's a way to expand if there's a social media thing out there, I mean, people are gonna find a way to get the Hana music on there, and I'm glad that they have.
No, definitely. I say it all the time, man. I love what everybody's out there doing. Whether you're singing along a song or you're what do they call that? That's not karaoke, but somebody sings a song and then you kind of a duet. You duet it with them. Those are pretty cool. But also, man, TikTok there's some people out there with some talent, dude. Like if it's literally their voice, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, but there's some people out there that can sing. And then you never know. Somebody could just be listening at the right time, and pick you up. Next thing you know, you're singing on a stage somewhere with somebody. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty cool. Again, that's why I'm such a fan of social media. And like I was saying earlier, I think Tejano music was probably the last ones to jump on that social media bandwagon, and I'm glad that we have. I think a lot of older artists are starting to realize the power of social media and the amount of people you can reach instantly, and it doesn't cost a dime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does TejanoNation have a TikTok?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, it's not as good as I liked it. I kind of wanted to find a TikTok content creator. I have Lexi helping me out every once in a while, but she's got her own TikTok and I'm sure she's busy with that. So
yeah.
So yeah, TikTok
we're gonna
is the
see
last
Romeo
one.
doing. We're gonna see Romeo doing the.
I'm a Twitter person myself. I like being on Twitter. Twitter, I can get the latest news. I like the algorithm of Twitter. Facebook, I get on every once in a while. I guess you would say for work.
Yeah.
But my
your go-to.
But
is
TikTok,
Twitter.
I've kind of seen it. My wife actually was the first one that got me into TikTok because she goes down. What does she call it? The TikTok wormhole.
You want to watch it for
the rabbit hole.
You want to watch
TikTok
like 2 or 3
rabbit hole.
and 30 minutes goes by like that.
Yeah. She says 3 hours. She'll be all of a sudden she's 3 hours. I'm like,
no, man.
I wish I had. But I'm more of a Twitter person. Well, I know because like Twitter right now has Twitter Spaces where you can do like these cool little audio conference calls now, and that's what I'm into right now. I mean, what I'm loving right now is a lot of which I want to do right now, which I get it out. Maybe I'll get it out there right now. The Tejano radio DJs. Well, what it is right now is that it's called Twitter Spaces, and like iHeartRadio or iHeartMedia has all their DJs every Friday talk about whatever the new music is that's been released that week. I'm like, man, that's a great tool. We should do that with Tejano Radio. Have the Tejano Radio DJs talk about, hey, here's some great new music, and then you can have the Tejano fans listen in to what we're talking about, or the Tejano Radio DJs are talking about new music, and you get to learn about new music or find out about new artists.
So does it work like you're talking to one another, or you're pretty? Oh, so it's like a conversation.
It's conversation. It's called Twitter Spaces. There's some co-hosts, and then you can listen in to it. And then if you want to talk, you say like, "Hey, I want to join the conversation," and they'll let you join and talk about whatever you want to do. So it's kind of cool. I like it. See, I'm a Twitter person.
So Twitter, Twitter Spaces it's a different app. It's not just on Twitter, or it's on. No, Twitter.
It's on Twitter. It's on Twitter.
I'm gonna have to check this. See, I have a Twitter. I've had a Twitter since when it first came out, and the only thing that I use Twitter for is instant news. Like If you want to know what's
Yeah.
going on right then at that second, you like if you heard somebody died or something, you put that in the search and it'll be like boom, 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 and you could look whether the person's credible or not. You can go off of
Yeah.
what they're saying or not. But you're right. The algorithms on Twitter are insane. But I need to use more social media, and I think do you use Twitter? I mean Twitter. Do you use
Yeah.
Instagram?
I have Instagram, but actually for Instagram, I have a social media manager that helps out with that one for the TejanoNation Instagram. I mean, and she's doing a great job. I mean, Instagram is the one that's um,
Booming right now.
uh, booming right now. Yeah, I got to send a shout out to Veronique. She does probably wants to be behind the scenes, but she's the one who handles the Instagram, and she's doing a great job.
Hey, Romeo. So I always get hit by my friends like, "Bump, you don't do enough on Instagram," and I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Like Instagram just doesn't like. There's not enough information on there. Like the pictures are small. Like you know what I mean. It's just like I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just something. I think Facebook. It's like when you're just used to something and you don't want anything new. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm stuck at. But I think the younger generation that we're trying to reach is really on that Instagram. And that Instagram is where these people are at. So
the younger, I think they're on TikTok and Instagram, because Instagram they post their selfies. TikTok they do their videos. Facebook is for the older generation, I guess, like for us.
Easy.
We're on Facebook. I mean, like when your moms are on Facebook. And they're always posting.
Hey, my mom is on Facebook and she's always posting.
Yeah, exactly. My mom's always posting too. My mother-in-law. So Facebook is like, I guess it's come for the older generation, which is, and don't get me wrong, Facebook, the Honda music is like an older type of fan, because a lot of the stuff from Facebook is pretty much the biggest way for people to get the TejanoNation. But Facebook is that I think Facebook is a way to connect with people. Twitter is a way to get your news, the latest news you need. Instagram is to post your selfies, and TikTok is for you to go crazy with videos.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. But your wife's definitely right about TikTok, man. I have to. My wife gets mad at me all the time, like, put that freaking phone down. It's like, or what are you watching? I'm like, check out this video. It's funny. Like, I just, I don't know, man. Sometimes I'll just break out into laughter because what I watch is just so funny. I mean, the other day I think I laughed harder, and I'm gonna share with you just because you might not think it's funny, but the video was just hilarious. Steve Harvey, and you ever watch the Steve Harvey ones where the what's the show that he does? The Family Feud.
Family Feud, yeah.
Yeah, so he had a family from Africa, from African descent, and they were the guy's like, what was the question? He said, what would be something that you wouldn't have at a wedding that would be really, really bad, that would make the wedding bad, right? And so he goes to the guy. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen that one.
He goes to the guy, and the guy says, he looks him straight in the eye, and he goes like, okay, so what's something that would missing from a wedding that would just make the day really bad at a wedding? And the guy looks at me and says, the pasta. And so Steve Harvey goes, the what? The pasta. So he says, no, man, I told you, food is not part of the answers. It cannot be any food. So the guy looks at Steve Harvey like, what are you talking? Like, he's looking at him like, bro, what are you talking about? But he's trying to smile and be nice, so he looks down at his family. And the family realizes what Steve Harvey's thinking. So the lady says, no, Steve, the pasta, the like the preacher. The
pastor, yeah.
He said, no, I thought you meant the pasta. I thought it was hilarious, dude. So I laughed, man. That's my little TikTok there, share with you guys. I just thought it was freaking hilarious on how serious that guy was with what he said, man. But I'm just, what's great is that TejanoNation is on all the social media platforms, and we need to support you. So if you guys are watching, this is the first time you ever seen Romeo. For a lot of you, this is the first time you've ever seen Romeo, but you've heard his voice, hundreds and hundreds of times at your favorite Tejano radio stations, internet stations. Keep supporting them, man. However you can. If you want to sponsor Tejano Nation, hit them up. They would love to have you. Romeo, I know you're a busy man, and I don't want to keep you from writing some more great articles. But I do have a question before I let you go, and it's a personal question. What do you think of what I am trying to do with the show for our Tejano fans?
No, I think you're doing great. Like the first time we talked, remember I was like trying to see, telling you like it's a great thing. Anything that helps to promote Tejano music and culture, it's great. And I was like, hey, use my platform to expand what you're doing. So that's one of the things I wanted to make sure that you were out there. That's like I said, I'm the type of person, I like to be behind the scenes, and I like to push other people up and let them shine. And that's my goal. I mean, if anybody who knows me, hopefully knows that that's what I'm about. I don't want to take the credit. I want somebody else to shine, and I'll just be back here enjoying what's happening.
And you told me that.
Enjoying your happiness is my happiness.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, man. And
so with that being said, all the artists, send me your stuff.
Hey, I'll make sure that you get it out there. You can't bitch about you didn't get your new album didn't get an article written about it. If you're not sitting in your stuff, you don't have a leg to stand on. If you're sitting in your stuff and Romeo doesn't write about it, well, then you have a little bit of leg to stand on. But if you're not sitting in, then you can't just, Romeo's not out there just like, okay, all this is new, let me write about this. You gotta sit in your stuff, man. And it's not gonna do nothing but help you, the artist, And this goes for the managers, promoters, all that stuff, man. And
what's crazy about the Tejano music is, I know we don't have that much in budgets, but in top 40 radio and just actually top 40 record labels, or even any kind of country record labels, they send you a press release when they're releasing new music. At Tejano music, I get an MP3 and the name of the artist and the name of the song, and that's about it. You need publicists, you need press release. Help me a whole lot. Even if, and just send it, not only send it to me, but send it out to everybody. Send it out to all the websites out there and see if they do new music. Why not try it?
Hell yeah. I mean, we're here to support one another, man. Somebody put in the comments earlier, like, we're all here to support one another. If we all think that way, our genre is going to do nothing but grow, man. It's going to be a good time anywhere you go. Wherever you can go to support our music and our culture, do it. Because that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do to continue to grow, and just to get it to all the generations. To all the people that tuned in tonight, thank you guys so much. I know it's a lot of people, they see the show and like, hey man, what artists are you gonna have? I'm gonna tell you right now, 2022, I'm bringing you all kinds of stuff. And like I said earlier, Romeo, I'm so happy that you did the show, the first show of 2022, because again, for all the work that you put in for everybody behind the scenes, you know what I mean? It does not go unnoticed. I know all these artists, I comment after comment, thank you for what you do behind the scenes, man. And I want to thank you. I've told you probably 100 million times already this show, but dude, I just want to thank you again for opening your arms and guiding me, when I was first getting started, and also letting me use the TejanoNation platform for the show to grow, and Tejano, TejanoNation. With that being said, the word Tejano, next week in the studio, I'm gonna have a Tejano who took us, as Romeo said earlier, if you're in Nashville, there's country music, it comes out of Nashville, right? The Nashville Star, the first ever Nashville Star that we ever had. A lot of people didn't know this. Gabe Garcia I want to say he's from Lido. Do you know him, Romeo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he from Lido?
I'm not sure. I have to go back and look.
Natalia Lido. He's from somewhere over there. Gabe Garcia was one of the finalists of the first, country star or whatever, like American Idol, but country music wise. And the guy is awesome. Like I love watching the videos, him and Cesar jamming out from David Lee. But he sings country music. And so, me being a Tejano, and that's being part of who we are and part of our culture, Mr. Gabe Garcia is going to honor us here with his presence. He's promised me that he's going to bring his guitar, and we're going to talk. I mean, that guy probably has stories from heck. I mean, imagine, a Chicano trying to make it in this country music industry is probably not an easy thing to do. So I'm looking forward to that. So again, next week, Gabe Garcia will be here in the studio on Wacky Wednesday. Make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be a great show. Romeo, thank you so much, bro. Neta, la mera neta, thank you so much, bro. I am honored, one, to be your friend, and that I could pick up the phone and call and text you, and you're always very on it. Hey, give me a second. I'm doing something, but I'll call you back, whatever. And you've always helped me. Thank you so much, brother. And again, thank you on behalf of all the nation, of all the fans. Thank you for what you're doing, and please continue to bring us all that great content. Tell your wife thank you for letting us borrow you for an hour and some change, and to your beautiful sons for letting us steal you away on an evening that you could be spending with them. So again, Romeo, gracias, mil gracias, bro. Thank you so much, and I look forward to all the content you bring. The artists, make sure, like he said, tell him, Romeo. I'll let you tell him, Romeo.
Yeah, for the artists out there that we're here. TejanoNation is here to promote everybody and get the news out there and let everybody know. So this is what I want you to do. Tejano artists, go to TejanoNation.net. There's a search bar. Put your name in there. If the latest single isn't in there, an article isn't written about you, the latest album release, or any kind of news that you want out there, it's not in there in the search bar. DM me or email me news@TejanoNation.net. Send me everything or your details, and I'll get back to you. And that's the whole thing for TejanoNation, is to promote you and promote the culture and help us expand.
And you're gonna sit into him all rough, and he's gonna take it, and he's gonna make you look like $1 million, bro. Que no, Romeo?
Yeah, I try. Yeah, if you send me a little bit of information, I'll be like, okay, we'll set up a date, make a phone call. I'll get some details from you. It's kind of hard to do with everybody. So,
heck yeah. Bueno, Romeo, well, I'm gonna let you go, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. And I'll be hearing from you soon. You'll be hearing from me soon. And just stay in touch, bro. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, thank you, Bumper. Thanks for the time, and best of luck on everything in 2022 for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. That was Romeo from TejanoNation again, man. Just like he said, if you guys are out there, like, you know what I mean, go out there and support TejanoNation.net. Like, please, if there's anything you take from tonight's show, support it. If your radio station doesn't have that syndicated radio, hit them up. Say, hey, man, you know what? I was traveling through Corpus. I was driving through San Antonio. I heard on this internet station they have this Jammin' J Javi and Romeo have a show. How do we get it here? You know what I mean? I've been listening to you for a long time. I want to hear him. I want to hear him on the radio. So again, he's doing what I'm trying to do. We're just trying to keep the onda alive and trying to keep our culture relevant. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode, the first episode of 2022, the first of many. Again, next week, Gabe Garcia will be right here live in the studio from somewhere down here in South Texas, bringing some great country music your way. Check him out. Google him. Google Gabe Garcia. I promise you're going to see thousands and thousands of views for this guy. So again, make sure you tune in. And until next week, you guys have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. COVID is out there. It's bad. Get your vaccinations. Do what you got to do, man. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys next week.